Hang on, let me get comfortable, sorry. We need to have a conversation. So, I have been thinking about this ever since it became public, ever since it's become like a real full-on fucking thing. My question, sorry, anime in the background. My question is, how the fuck does not everyone know about Downward Funeral Home? There's a bunch of decomposing bodies there. There's a whole bunch of fetuses in jars there. And everything has happened within a year. The most recent thing was 11 months ago, so almost exactly a year to next month. And yet, everyone's acting as if that never happened? Even do a basic Google search. You have to fully say the name Downward Funeral Home for it to even pop up. If I can get the screenshot to pop up, I will. Here's a screenshot, if I can get it to pop up, of the basic Google search. If not, then y'all are just gonna have to deal with it. I'm sorry. Even the fucking... Even the actual website's still up. So here's what it says on the website. When you have experienced the loss of a loved one, you can trust us to guide you through an arrangement necessary to create a meaningful ceremony that celebrates unique life being honored. Our staff is committed to providing your family with the highest quality care and service in your time of need, and we take pride in our responsibilities of lightening your burden as you take the first step towards healing and recovering. So, our services, plan ahead, there's a whole bunch of stuff. How we can help. At Downward Funeral Home, we help in addition to helping you plan a memorial service. Our commitment is to go above and beyond by helping you with each item on your to-do list so you can focus on what matters most. And then it says click the video below. I'm not going to click the video because I don't need. And then it literally shows you where to go. So it's based off in Pocatello, Idaho. It's a large case. They still have a phone number up. Maybe if I continue to do like videos on this, I'll like make a thing where I try to call them and see if anyone pops up. I don't know. So the funeral has literally been shut down since September 3rd, 2021. So almost a whole year it's been shut down. So a fairly new thing. A fairly new thing. Fairly recent. A year. A year isn't that long. A year isn't that long ago. So during COVID, this happened. So Downward Funeral Home was locked up and shut down since September 3rd, 2021, when investigators discovered 12 rotting corpses, along with the remains of 50 fetuses, and close to the same number of other unidentified cremated ashes. And yet we're not talking about this. No one is. They're still working on the evidence to get the owner fined and to go to jail. Some more information. The families who trusted him to take care of their loved ones in some cases don't even know what happened to their loved ones that remains. All 12 bodies were eventually identified. Some of them were badly decomposed. That DNA had to be used in order for identification. But investigators say that there are 30 to 40 sets of cremated remains that are unidentified and probably will never be due to their no way of being able to show proof due to cremations. For fuck's sakes. So here's more. For years, Peck, the owner, and Downward Funeral Home had a long-standing relationship with the ISU, Idaho State University. That's the college. When people wanted their bodies of the loved ones donated to ISU for study, Peck, in charge of the facilitating and transfer of the... I don't know how to pronounce that word, unfortunately. He would also cremate the bodies for the university when they were done with them. But in May 2020, the university ended its relationship with Peck during multi-year periods during 2012 and 2017. Downward failed to provide body donations to the university. Due to lack of donations, Idaho State ended its relationship with Downward, and ISU news release shows. And additionally, ISU discovered evidence that some families believed their loved ones were at ISU. However, the university had no record of the donation. University officials relayed this information to investigators. Also, with the jarred up fetuses, IUCU used to also take donations of that until they were legally no longer allowed to, but Peck and Downward Funeral Home refused to get rid of them for whatever reason. Now, there is like a whole bunch of conspiracy theories about how he's like a cannibal and necrophilia and all this other stuff, but I don't know. There's also a lot of creepy like Google reviews of this place before it even got close to shutting down. The most recent news that we've gotten was April 14th of 2022 of this case. That's the most recent news that we have. Why? This is also recent and yet no one's fucking talking about this. I saw one single TikToker mention this once. I have not seen any more mentions of anything. The website's still up. It says permanently closed. But the website's still up. The information's still out there. There's 12 rotting corpses of evidence and 50 fucking fetuses. And along with that, 50 more identified fucking ashes. This is people's loved ones. This is people who put their families, their deceased family members, into the hands of this funeral home, and no one's talking about it. I'm wondering if people outside of Idaho, or like Idaho and Washington, know about this. Maybe even Oregon. But like out of those 3 states, how many other places know about this? I have not seen... I heard about this the moment that it happened. On September 3rd, there was a news break on like YouTube or something because we don't have regular cable. And I saw this. And the first moment that I saw it, I freaked out. Emotionally freaked out because I was pregnant with my daughter around this time last year. And I had an emotional meltdown for all the people who lost their loved ones. And yet no one's batting an eye. They've been investigating for a year. Not exactly a year, from September 2021 to April 2022. So that's maybe I don't know, 10. Give me a second to do the math. That's about 8 to 9 months of investigating. No one said anything. What the fuck? I was curious. The person who owns the funeral home is named Lance Peck, and I was curious if maybe he had any other charges against him. So apparently he had in 2015, Peck was ordered to pay 2,500 fines and 5,500 fines, investigation and costs and attorney fees. Peck received 6 months of probation from the attorney of... Peck found himself in trouble again in 2016, saying that in 2015, Downward Funeral Home and another crematorium that he owns operated again as unlicensed funeral homes. As a result, Peck and his family homes were required to pay $2,500. So he didn't have licenses in 2016 or 2015 or 2017. Is he in jail now, though? So, according to police reports, because I'm on his records, because they're public evidence, it's public records, because anything in a court case is a public record, and also articles and stuff will be like, hey, yo, this is happening. Also, articles and stuff will go through your whole entire history from when you were born to now. But according, people were complaining about there being an disgusting smell coming from the funeral home, as well as someone apparently saw a decaying body on their way walking through one of the windows, which is fucking terrifying. So there isn't. The judgment of the district court is reversed and causing remain of clemency. Both him and his wife are apparently in trial, though. Nothing for sure has been 100% stated. I'm wondering if they're afraid to state anything, or if they just want to make sure that everything is all together. Huh. But yeah, let's get into the creepy ass fucking Google reviews now. I'm not going to give the names. I'm not going to show anything. If you really want to look up, go for it and then go to lowest reviewed. I'm not personally going to state the names of the people because I don't know. They are public, but that's not my name to say. This is a 1-star rating 3 years ago. My mother passed away in February 2019. I came from out of state to be here for her in the end and make all arrangements and such. I hired downward for services and was happy until the last detail. The death certificate. Sorry, that's my son. The death certificate never came to my house. Lance told me it would take a couple weeks. I waited and waited, and now have been 3 months, no certificate. He known I really needed it for legal purposes and registered her car that I paid off. I called him and texted, and he did not readily available. Was not as readily available. I felt like I was pestering him, so I called several times. My intuition says that he was being dishonest with me about it. He was paid in full, and I'm still without a death certificate. Overall, I was happy in the beginning, but really surprised the way that he stopped caring about my account and what I paid for. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Let's see if I can get to the other one. Oh, there's multiple 1-star reviews. Here's another 1-star. A year ago, attended a service at Delmore Funeral Home. Service was beautiful, but it ruined by the most pungent smell ever. All of the guests were overwhelmed by it. Something was definitely wrong. We'll never be there again. In April of 2015, my father passed away. Downward handled the services along with the cremation. Most were buried in the Pocatello Cemetery, as the rest were sent to Alaska to my father's home. I even purchased a very nice, very expensive box for them to be sent in. After the service, Lance said he would take care of sending the boxes to my uncle in Alaska. It was recently brought to my attention that my uncle never received the box to my father's ashes. Both my family and I called multiple times, yet to receive the box. Used to be a great place to pick up leftover bodies from the decomposed site, but the guy got busted for losing track of bodies, and apparently the smell was wafting around downtown 11 months ago. 6 years ago. Very professional and compassionate. Did a wonderful job. We lost my father 72 hours after my mother. All was handled. So now we're at the best. We're at the best ones. Which these are all the best ones. That's really interesting that they talked about the smell, though. Sorry, I'll make sure I had a beverage to make sure that my kids were all okay and stuff. It's definitely interesting that they mentioned the smell. How long ago was that smell one, actually? Lowest? A year ago was the smell one. Interesting. 3.4 stars out of 5, though. Newest? Used to be a good place to pick up leftover bodies. Wonderful staff and very caring. Wonderful staff and very caring. Wonderful staff and very caring. All of the good ones are like wonderful staff, very caring. Which is very interesting. Maybe I'll do an update if anything changes, but until then, this is kind of where we're left off, unfortunately. So I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm surprised that no one else has made videos about this place. More and more questions than answers.